Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the plot and the channel. Today I've decided to draw the line underneath it. Right guys, I'll explain what I mean by drawing a line underneath it. For those subscribers that have been with me for quite a time now, you'll know that I've been working really hard to get rid of the back plot and move everything onto this plot. So for the last 6 months it's just been hell for leather. I managed to get everything done and moved onto here. I think it were around the end of January, and from that point on then the season started to get a little bit busy, and then obviously we were into the mad March, April, May. Fortunately now I've got most of what I've grown out onto the allotment, bar from doing some direct sowing in some of the spare beds that I've got left over, particularly after the onions were decimated by the allium leaf miner. So yeah, I'll be doing some direct sowing into that, but I've drawn a line under growing anything else. This season I want to try and sit back and just enjoy it. I want to become very close with my hoe from now on. Yeah, as I say, a little bit of direct sowing, but the rest is just about upkeep and maintenance. I came down yesterday, as I said in the last video when we were doing the squash, there were weeds all over, and I was determined. I started in this garden and I worked my way right the way down the plot into every single bed and weeded everything. So at this moment in time, there are I will not say there's no weeds, because there's never that, but there are very few, and I don't intend to let them get on top again. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a full allotment tour, including the greenhouses and everything, and just show you how things are coming on. And I think I have a little harvest of beetroot to take, and yeah, I'll show you around and see what you think. It's absolutely blisteringly warm here today, so I won't be hanging around too much. I'm going to get everything watered after doing this video, and I'm going to get myself a foam. Right, let's start in the greenhouses, shall we? Before we go in the greenhouse, I'll just show you, I've still got to deal with these onions and the garlic. I'm going to hopefully take them home today, and then I can have my sun shelter back. I can get my chair in there, and maybe look at getting that fire installed. The tomatoes, these are the tumblers that I've got in here. I'm having to water these twice a day, once in the morning, coming back in the evening to do it, because they're just drying out. And I'll show you the same with tomatoes in the small greenhouse, but we'll go in to the large greenhouse first, where we've got a lovely cucumber that's climbing up this bamboo cane and scrambling all the way along the bench there, doing really well. I'm so annoyed with myself. I took 4 cuttings of this plant that one of the plot neighbours gave me. I don't even know what it's called. It's an indoor plant, and all 4 of them were doing brilliant, and I had them on a shelf and I forgot all about them, and they dried out. So there's only this one really that's any cop. Well, the peppers are all doing really well. As you can see, I'm just bottom watering these now, and then what I tend to do is on a Sunday I feed them at the top, and they're all looking really well. I need to find the labels. There is a label in each one, but there is some on this side, some on the back, and some on the other side, but all looking really nice and healthy. And here we have the yard-long beans, which have really perked up in this greenhouse situation. And starting to put on some decent size. So yeah, so that's the large greenhouse. We'll move across into the small one, and this is where I'm having a few problems. Firstly, I can't get enough water on these tomatoes. I come down, I put it on in the morning, put it on at tea time, and they curl up. They start, you can see where they're just curling a little bit. I'm going to bang a load more water on them, and hopefully they'll be fine. These are the Roma down at the bottom. As you can see underneath here, the cucumber is climbing all the way up and down onto this table here. All the melons have started to crawl along. We're starting to get a few buds on them, so hopefully we'll get something off those. And these are just massive. I think they can go off the roof, and as you can see there is a flower forming there. But I'm just going to have to keep an eye on these, see what I can do. But definitely next year I will get the smaller version, not the tall ones like this. There you go, little lodger in there. Not today, mate. Not today. There we go. Right, so let's go out and work our way down the plot. So as you've seen, the garden there is all nice and weed free. It's all starting to fill up a little bit. I gave it a good watering yesterday. The clematis in the back there is putting on a lovely show. I pruned the plum tree. That looks a little bit of a better shape, and I love that rose in it, a beautiful iridescent colour. That the climbers are not doing too bad. You know, I don't expect miracles in the first year. The passion flower there in the middle is starting to grab hold. That's probably the worst one of them all, but they've got to get the feet down. Then in this bed here, the climbing rose smells absolutely divine. So I'm just in the process now of winding that in and out and up this wire. This bed is lovely. We've got dahlias all the way along here in between the roses, and the roses have started to bud up now. At the back we've got some gladioli, so I think this bed is going to look really nice. These are the two onion beds that I've weeded, and this is where I'm going to do some direct sowing. You know, lettuce, beetroot, radish, that sort of stuff. The sweet peas are doing great. Smell absolutely divine when you walk past them. The rainbow char's not very rainbowy, is it? And they've been getting nibbled by the pigeons, as I told you. The fennel's doing fine. And I think this is a blackberry or blackcurrant, I'm not sure. It's a thornless one anyway, and it's running all the way along the fence, so might just throw a net over that once those fruits set, just to stop the scavengers. We'll go back across here first to the brassica tunnel, and those purple cabbage are looking fantastic. And as I mentioned to you the other day, the sprouts there are standing up lovely. So the key thing now is to make sure I can get enough water on them. Right, the leeks have continued to do okay. One or two are flopping down, but I'm sure that's the pigeons. The pigeons are coming on. I copped for them this morning walking through the bed, so but they're looking okay. are looking okay. The grapevine over there is just sat, not doing much really. And the sweet corn is looking really healthy. And down here I've bobbed in. I had a couple of spare cucumbers, so I've put one here and I've put one over there as well. Let them grab onto the fence, and fingers crossed if we get a warm enough summer, we'll get some decent cucumbers off them. So yeah, those peppers, sweet peas are lovely. I've got to start cutting those. The more you cut, apparently, the more come back. Here we go. The runner beans that I put in place of the yard longs have just started to grab hold now. So hopefully they'll get themselves down to that bed where we put all those green waste and manure in, and they should fire up shortly. These dwarf beans are starting to flower now, so I'm really pleased with those. I'll start to cling on to the canes just to give them that bit of support. This lettuce is going to start to get harvest. My first barbecue this weekend, so we'll be taking some of that. And then it's the second brassica cage. This has got the cabbage and the kale, and they're not doing too bad. There is a little bit of slug damage, but overall I'm really pleased with them. I'll just spin around nicely now to the centerpiece. Now this is a fair old size now, and just to show you, I'll stand next to it. Everything's going a bomb, getting really nice and tall. All the lobelia, all the nasturtiums are doing really well. The lavateria here is getting quite big as well, so we've still a lot to see yet with that. So a couple of weeks time, that should be looking fantastic. So moving away from there now, over to the tomatoes, which are, I'm pleased to say, compared to last year, they're doing really, really well. If you remember last year, we had that really cold, wet, miserable start to the season, and they just sat there and curled up and felt sorry for themselves. These are loving it here, really loving it. And I do think that the black plastic, keeping the soil warm, keeping the weeds down, is going to pay dividends. So yeah, I'm pleased with how the tomatoes are doing there. The potatoes are looking nice and healthy. I went through with the hoe yesterday. I gave them each line a watering can full of water, as I do in these conditions once every other day. But yeah, these are looking nice and healthy. Fingers crossed they stay that way. Nip over this way now, and we can see that the pumpkin here is doing well. As you can see, there's one or two pumpkins in there, and there's one down there. I'm not going to let them get too many on before I cut the leader out. And that is, I think that's a crookneck squash. I think. You know what I'm like with my labels. So they're doing okay there. This is the first lot of parsnips, the ones that are transplanted, and look at the size of those. They are looking quite big, and I'm just looking at the tops there, and they're quite a girth on them already. So they're doing well. And then there's the second sowing, and if you have a look, these are doing okay. And then there's the odd ones playing catch up. And there's another one there, look. But that's quite good because they can just stay in a little bit longer, and I'll take them later on. Yep, the shallots are looking great. Just moving down here now. The new potatoes in the bags are looking good. Just starting to flower now, so hopefully another three weeks or so we should be able to have a reveal and see what we've got. The rhubarb is looking really well there, to say that it's its first season. And the squash down here, squash, have you heard me? The courgettes, the yellow and green courgettes are doing quite well as well. Over here we've got another pumpkin and some butternut, I think, in that one. Spring onions looking all right after the scare. And I'm hoping, hey up Mal, you have missed some weeds. Look at this one here. Oh dear, Mal. There we go. Let's get them out while I'm here. I'm hoping to get a little harvest of beetroot today. We'll have a quick look at it later on. Yep, so these are the tumbling toms, so give them a water twice a day. I've been doing that, and I just had some spare dill, which I like, that lovely delicate flower just floating about in the sun and in the wind there. That's looking good. Before we go on to anything else, they still look a little bit poor, but I'm going to give them plenty of water before I go today, and hopefully in the next few days. And what I might do as well is give them a seaweed feed, just to give them a little bit of a boost. Is this crookneck squash? These are crookneck. Oh, I stood on there. There, look. Yeah, I think they are, aren't they? Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I've not grown them before. They were what I got from Ali at the Rusty Garden. So yeah, this doesn't look that clever at the minute, but with a bit of feed, fingers crossed, I'll be able to bring them back to something. I'm quite pleased with the carrots, to be fair. And I'm wanting to probably put another few seeds in these gaps. But to say that we were infiltrated with the volunteer potatoes, I don't think they've done too bad. I've not had a look at one yet. I've not had a look. I've had to see if there's anything worth pulling up. Oh, well, that looks lovely and fresh and nice. So yeah, they're doing great. Oh, I've got 3 onions there still to harvest, so I'll have to get those. Whilst we're here, we might as well look at the fruit trees. As I say, not that prolific, but to say that these have been moved this season, you know, it's not too bad. This one here, there's not many pears on this, the odd 1 or 2, but hopefully next year with another winter on its back, they should be okay. This one looks really as though it's losing its leaves. I need to get some water on that, but there's quite a few pears on there. Here's my wood store. This is my little fetish. You know, if I see a nice long plank piece of wood or out like that, I'll pick it up and I put it in here, thinking one day it'll come in. 9 times out of 10 it does. My wood's drying lovely for the log burner at home. And look at that. That's the honeysuckle that I took from the back of the shed when we had the back plot. That's really got its feet down. The clematis ain't too clever, to be fair. This is where any scraps of wood that I get, I don't throw anything away, no matter how small. I put them all in here, and then if I'm having a fire, they're good starter pieces. I always bring my cardboard down as well. Bought myself another portable speaker the other day for the garden. Yeah, so all my wood, the cardboard's doing well. This tank is a quarter full. You know, we haven't had a lot of rain, so I'm going to empty that out when I can, because obviously I want to lift that up a little bit higher, put another pallet on there. The compost bay is virtually empty now, so it means I'm going to be able to, if I can lift it with one hand, I don't know, can I? That one's sort of half full. I can toss that into there and we should be doing okay. Back over here to the herb beds. The parsley's looking nice. I'm going to have to take some of that. The sage and the chives. The basil looks great. And we've got mint and thyme and oregano in this one. So yeah, all in all, I'm very pleased with how things have gone, despite the allium leaf miner. Right, these carrots taste lovely. Let's have a look under here. See what we've got. Oh, they're absolutely cracking. Just the right size. So I'm going to get a few more of these. There we go. They're really a lovely size, just right. The other ones, the golden beets, nowhere near as big as that, so I'm going to have to be quite selective and just get these bolt hardy ones out and give them a little bit of time to grow on. And before I forget, one of the subscribers was asking about how the back plot was doing, so I'll take you around and show you. Not much happening really. I'll turn you around. The lawn could do with a cut. The weeds at the back of the shed there. The greenhouse somehow has got chard seeds in there, so they're going up on. What a lovely poppy that is. And then yeah, what they've done here is they've just dug or rotivated all the paths up and in one, and they have been putting some plants in but not doing any weeding. So as you can see here, they've just put a little bit of horse manure down, and if they've used this on this site, it's far too raw to be using. And it looks like they've put some sweet corn in there. And then over there looks to be sort of like pumpkins or squash, I don't know. But not much gone on. Not much. And that's a point as well. I think I made an error on my Buddleia globosa, because this has flowered and gone. And mine hasn't flowered at all. So I think I might have pruned that a little bit too late. Oh, there's the tree, the one tree that we left. And that seems to have quite a lot of lovely apples on there. So at least they're going to get some form of harvest. It just looks like they're putting individual beds in. So at least they're using it. At least it's not like this one here. I could have swore the other day when I was walking up I saw a lion. A lion and an elephant come trundling through. Jungle is an understatement. Right, let's get back to the greenhouse. There we go, so that's a full tour of the allotment, bar the shed and bar all that rubbish behind you. That is something that I'm going to have to tackle. All the pots and everything need to be pulled out and need to be cleaned and stacked and stored neatly. I'm going to be quite mercenary because I've looked at all the pots that I've not used this year, and I'm not going to mess about. They're going to be gone because I want that storage area to be as clutter free as I possibly can. So I'm hoping to go and buy some more beetroot seed and lettuce seed and radishes to get put in to that bed, or one of those beds. If you've got any suggestions what I could put in the others, then please leave a note in the comments for me, because if I can use the beds for something, then I will do. So any ideas, leave a note. But other than that, I'm going to stop rambling on. I'm going to let you continue with your evening, day, whatever it is, and hopefully I will see you all again next Sunday. Yeah. So, oh, and before I go, it's my 200th video today, the official 200, from when I started to be the veg plot man and do the whole thing. Yeah, so bit of a milestone. Didn't hit the 3,000 mark. I think we're on 2,919 or something like that. But it'd be great after this video if I could do that. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you very much for your comments. And until I see you next week, take care and happy growing.